Parevcez. Ինչպես Ես շատ լավ եմ. Ես քիչ մանուտի եմ. Ուր եմ? Oh, շատ լավ. Guys, today I am at Spokane's first ever Lebanese Armenian restaurant, Skewers, located at 1009 West 1st Avenue. After operating purely as a food truck since 2016, they opened their doors as a restaurant in 2023. And it's been very well received since the opening day. I'm sorry, it's very awkward because people are walking by me and I'm downtown Spokane and there's a lot of foot traffic. So it's very nerve-wracking. You'll have to bear with me through the stutters and stammers. I come from an Armenian-Lebanese background. My grandparents grew up in Lebanon after their parents were forced out of Armenia during the Armenian genocide. So they grew up eating a lot of Lebanese food, and by extension, so did I. But when this place opened up, we were extremely excited. There are little hints of Middle Eastern influence in American restaurants, like, you know, all across the country. Like, for example, Pita Pit has falafel, which, you know, just objectively is not good. Now there's a place where we can eat authentic, high-quality Armenian-Lebanese food. And when I resurrected this series, Patty G Films Food Review, this was one of the first restaurants I thought of in terms of making a review. I contacted the owner, Mirak Kazanjian, and he was very excited about the possibility of me making a video. So I'm doing so. The most amazing thing about the Armenian people is that wherever they end up, they find one another. And that was extremely evident during the Armenian festival on July 26th. I'm just really excited to review this place. It's really good. I have been here before, which made me even more excited to make a video about it. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Patty G Films Food Review. Let's eat. When did you start the food truck? I know you opened this place in what, 2023?
Yep. Yeah, the food truck I started in 2016.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's been 9 years now. Yeah, actually, in a couple weeks it'll hit the 9-year mark.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was talking to Dora Scott from the Inlander.
Yeah.
She said that when you opened the restaurant, it was hard for you because you were used to having like eyes on everything.
Yep. Total control. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a big part of the restaurant is letting go of the little things and training, and then
right.
And hoping that it'll be as good.
Right.
Certainly, it's hard to find employees that can care as much as I do.
Right.
But
of course.
I've got some good staff, so.
What we got right here is we got a little hummus, a little pita bread. We got some falafel bites, pickled vegetables, tomatoes, lettuce. Amazing. Hey, what's this sauce with the falafel?
So I put taratur with the falafel, and normally it comes with hummus, but since we have hummus over here,
right,
taratur is really good with that.
Okay. Well, silly me. I forgot to actually review the food during the food review. So we're doing that now. The last food review I did, I had a guy named Noah Bartlett with me, but he wasn't able to make it. So I couldn't have thought of a better guest than fellow Lebanese Armenian and key to the city holder of Spokane, and the only person to look more handsome than me with a mustache, Dr. Haraya Garabudian. Thank you for joining me. I remember I was talking to you about how we were going to film this, and I was talking about one of the critiques that I was gonna make, which is that I wish that the bread was toasted, and you were like, "Don't you dare."
Yeah, don't you dare. Usually, you don't eat the toasted bread. You can use the toasted pita bread in the fattoush, the salad that they have. But we don't usually toast the bread. But it's an American thing, is toasting the bread.
Right.
Yeah, but whatever you can eat, they eat it. It tastes good either way.
And growing up in Lebanon, which one of these two did you eat more than the other?
The same.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. This is our main menu usually, and then quite a large percentage of population eat this thing as both lunch and breakfast, lunch and dinner. We had access to meat, but we had also so many variety of meals that are non-meat dishes that we didn't mind. We ate everything. We didn't decide that this is not. It's because it has meat, we don't want to eat it, because
right.
We had variety.
I recently discovered that I'm gluten intolerant, and this bread has gluten in it, but we do it for the art. So, let's dig in here.
Mm-hmm. See how it is? You have to scoop it up.
Right,
That's why toasted bread does not scoop up.
Good.
And I'm going to have some of the falafel. This is the best falafel.
Dude.
So fresh and crunchy.
My whole childhood, my grandmother and grandfather, of course, made me hummus. And like this really rivals it. I've had hummus in a lot of different places, including the restaurant that I work at, which I'm not allowed to say the name of it. They told me not to. I gotta say, this is a few steps ahead. I gotta say. You told me like a few months ago you were you were at Pita Pit, and you like saw that they had falafel, and you were really excited about it. You're like, oh my god, they have falafel. I'm gonna get that. What was your experience eating the falafel from Pita Pit?
Yeah, this was many years ago, but there was no much Middle Eastern restaurant at all. And when I went to Pita Pit and I look at the menu, there was falafel sandwich. I got so excited. I said, okay, I would like to have a falafel sandwich. All of a sudden, the guy picks up the falafel from the freezer, and it wasn't little bowls of falafel mix. Put it in the microwave and put it on bread. And I thought, is this falafel sandwich? He says, yeah. I said, oh my God, you have no idea what falafel sandwich is. If it's not something like this, crunchy and the perfect flavor, that's not falafel. Oh. You don't like it?
Oh my God.
Delicious.
Crunchy on the outside, soft as a pillow on the inside. That's amazing.
And the flavor?
Yeah. This would seem to be made from mostly fava beans, right?
Well, this is a mixture of fava beans and chickpeas.
Oh, okay.
The Egyptians make it only from fava beans.
Oh, really? And do any cultures make it specifically only with chickpeas?
Some of them make it with chickpeas, but most of it is mixed. This hummus has some cumin in it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, just like your uncle likes it.
Right.
Like Uncle Carl likes it. So
really?
Some people like it with cumin, some without cumin. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Also, I wanted to ask you about these pickled vegetables. Is this did you eat a lot of this growing up as well?
Pickled turnip is very famous.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Everything has a specific, unique taste that is pleasant to your palate.
Totally. I was looking at the reviews online, and there are so many 5-star reviews. I saw one 1-star review, but it was because the guy couldn't bring his dog in.
Oh.
he left a 1-star review, and that's pretty silly. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's what I always say. All right, well, we're gonna dig into this. Overarching message is that it's terrific, and enjoy the rest of the interview with Mirak.
Sorry, included that.
And we got some Armenian coffee as well. Guys, I'm here with the owner of Skewers, Mirak Kazanjian.
Yeah,
Kazanjian. So the biggest question when someone opens a restaurant is, above all, it's why. Because my dad has this joke where it's like, he told me this joke when I was a kid, and he was like, how do you make a small fortune, Patrick? And I was like, how? And he's like, you start with a big fortune and then you open a restaurant. So and I know I was reading both the Inlander articles about you and your restaurant, and it was very clear that you have a passion for cooking. So what was the learning curve like when it came to opening a restaurant in terms of learning about permits and all those things?
So with even just with the food side of it, a big part of it was just missing the food that I grew up with.
Right.
And that's what kind of started the journey in learning how to make the food that I grew up with that I liked.
Right.
And want that flavor back. And then people just were like, you need to open a restaurant. This is so good that I share with friends or whatever. And I started the food truck because it was easier to start. And I was right about that. A lot of things with the food truck are easier. A lot of things are hard with the food truck too. But then
Harder than the restaurant?
Yeah.
In some ways?
Yeah.
How
Yep.
so? Just space or?
Yes. So space, you're very limited on what you can do because you're confined to whatever kitchen you have in the truck.
Right.
And then your refrigeration space is minimal on the truck, so you're very limited on how much food you can take to events. You're stuck with seasonal, right? It only works in the summer. It doesn't. You can't do
Right.
much in the winter, and then also just the kind of the grunt work of loading up the truck and emptying it and doing the dishes every day.
Yeah.
And then because it's seasonal, it's also employees are seasonal. So every year it was like hiring new employees and starting fresh and training over.
Right.
So some of those are the hard,
When you're as invested as you are and you're trying to achieve the level of quality that you are, and you're
Yeah.
starting with new employees every year, I'm sure that can be tough in itself as well, right?
Yeah, it was to the point where really I couldn't train employees on the food prep side of it because it was such a short. By the time they learn, it's almost the end of the year, and
Right.
so it was just doing all that prep on my own, and
Right.
so it was a lot more work.
Yeah.
That's the grunt side of it that was harder, but then with the restaurant, and I swore to myself I'd never open a restaurant.
Right, that's what I was reading, yeah.
Yeah, and if you asked me even just a couple months before this space, I would have told you I'm not going to open a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But the opportunity that opened up with this space, thanks to Chef Michael Wiley.
Yeah, Michael Wiley, who
Yep.
owned Scratch.
He owned Scratch and Rain,
Yeah.
or he took it over. He didn't own it before.
Okay.
I mean, it's been here for a long time.
Okay.
He had taken it over from the previous owners, and then but he also owns Wiley's Downtown Bistro.
Right, yeah.
Yep. And then formerly Prohibition Gastropub on Monroe.
Oh, yes, okay, I know
Yeah.
about that one. And then I was also reading that once Scratch shut down, Angela Schultz, which she has her ear to the ground in terms of the restaurant industry in Spokane. Did she help convince you to open this restaurant?
Yeah, so she was one of the voices that always told me, like, oh, you need to open a restaurant, you need to have a space. And
Did she taste your food at some point? And then
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I knew her for quite a few years before opening the restaurant. And she was very encouraging, always very positive. And then when Wiley mentioned to her that he's making that tough decision to shut down Scratch, he ran into her and she's like, well, I know the perfect person that you should talk with.
Right.
And I was in that, it was the beginning of the season for the food truck, and I was in that tough mental period where things were getting busy and I was doing everything on my own, and I had new employees that I was trying to train, and so I was in that tough mental space that I always get shortly into the busy season.
Right.
And so it was just that right opportunity to even consider it. And then when I came and looked at the space, I had a lot of doubts, and I was like, well, probably not going to be able to afford this place, and it's too big, and all the negative thoughts. But then with Wiley's help and encouragement, it was just an easy transition. He helped with a lot of the permitting, licensing.
Oh, did he? Because of his experience in the restaurant
and he had
industry?
so much
Oh,
experience.
that's
It made
great.
it so, especially with it being throughout the summer that we were working on some of that stuff. I was so
Yeah.
busy with the food truck, it would have been so hard for me to focus on that.
Right.
So he was so helpful in that and getting a lot of that stuff, even if it was like, okay, this is the next form that you need to fill out this and send it in.
Oh, that's
even
so
just some
helpful.
of that, yeah.
Oh, my
Yep.
goodness. I reviewed Taco Vado on Northwest Boulevard.
Yeah.
And, they were talking about that learning curve of permits and all those things. It was extremely difficult. So having that guidance from Michael Wiley, I'm sure, was absolutely instrumental
Yeah.
to
Oh,
your
yeah.
success.
Yep.
Probably took a lot of stress off your shoulders too,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
And I was reading, also what I was reading in the article is that you didn't want to compromise for people that had never had the food before. You didn't want to Americanize the food.
Yep.
So when you got comments like there's too much flavor, or it's too spicy, or it's too this or too that, were you just confident that over time they would come to accept it?
Yeah, confidence won't be the best word to describe me and the food, mainly because I want everyone to enjoy it.
Right.
So when I serve something, I'm like anxious about wanting to make sure they thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's coming to learn that it's not necessarily for everybody. Everyone has different taste profiles or preferences. So it's hard because sometimes someone will make a comment about the texture or something, or too much spices, and in the back of my mind I'm like, or in the forefront of my mind I say like, thanks for giving it a try, thanks for being adventurous and trying something new, and sorry it wasn't for you.
Right.
And I want to think that way, but in the back of my mind it's still kind of draining and frustrating of like, did I do something wrong with it? Could I have made it better? But it's that the confidence is hard to always carry. Right. But I know that I enjoy eating. I can eat shawarma every day. I can eat falafel every day, and because it is the flavors that I grew up with, it's what I enjoy, and so I should be more confident, but it is hard because I want to please people.
Absolutely. Well, it's been so well received. Even with Taco Vada, which is also very good, there's a lot of people that I would mention it to and they hadn't heard of it. But this place, it's in a very good location, and there's many people that have been like, oh, I went on a date there. So the word is spreading, and it's being very well received, which is amazing.
Yeah.
One thing I was curious about is, have you had to compromise in your recipes? Have you ventured off the path just a little bit to appeal to like more American palates to any degree?
No.
Oh, that's amazing.
And there are some things that maybe are, if anything, where the compromises would be like maybe not being 100% traditional to some things.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, what would be a good comparison? I don't know. It's like a hamburger. You can have different types and different. People use different patties or different recipes for the patty. So some of the variation that you can have even in hamburger patties, right? The same could be said about shawarma or falafel.
Right.
And so some of the changes that I made are more of trying to make the food more elevated.
Right.
With shawarma, falafel, they're kind of considered Middle Eastern street food. So trying to make it a little bit more elevated.
And how do you go about that? How do you go about elevating those items?
I think the biggest thing, the main difference between street food and when you sit down at a restaurant, right? With street food, it's designed to be fast, grab and go. And at a restaurant, it's got to be appealing to the eye. It's got to be fresh, and some of those things that in street food isn't as important. It's about that, the flavors you want. You're sitting down and enjoying a meal as opposed to horking it down while you're walking around at a carnival, right?
Sure.
That's like so. Having a plate that has different elements to it, that you can taste different flavors and take your time and enjoy, as opposed to here's a sandwich, hope that fills you up. That's one of the main differences between street food and restaurant eating.
Okay.
I
makes
tried to
sense.
capture with shawarma.
Yeah, and then another thing is, with all the hard work that goes into running a restaurant, you do a lot of activism work when it comes to being a voice for Armenia, and especially Artsakh. I remember looking at your Instagram a couple years ago, and even since then, and you're always posting videos like spreading the word. And I saw you on April 15th downtown with a sign. Like you're always trying to do the most to be a representative of the Armenian community. You and me are both third generation Armenians, and we were both born in America. You were born in LA, right? Yeah. But it would be no exaggeration to say that you're much more involved in the culture than I am. And I just started taking Armenian lessons, so I'm trying to embrace it way more. But I just think that's so great that you have flags everywhere. You're having an Armenian festival on July 26th.
Yeah. And
that's just I just think that's so amazing. What's inspired you to do that so much? Is it just your upbringing?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is I went to an Armenian school and grew up with the culture, and loved it a lot. And moving to Spokane and being kind of removed from that community made me realize how integral it was to who I am. Mm-hmm. And there is something about your ethnic cultural identity in in, you know, something in your like DNA or heart or something that just it just is a part of you. It has a deeper impact. So when I moved to Spokane, removed from that community, I realized just how much it meant to me and how important it was. And as I got, you know, as I started the food truck and all that, it was always a part of it. It was always in the back of my mind of, you know, this is Armenia and I'm trying to share Armenian culture. It woke up a lot because of the war in Artsakh, of how important it is to be more outspoken about it, and realizing that it's about a fight for survival, not for myself, obviously, but for my culture, for my people, my grandparents, your great-grandparents that suffered during the Armenian genocide.
Yeah.
We owe it to them to not lose the Armenian spirit.
Right.
And so that's a big part
absolutely.
of what drives me of we have a big legacy, we have an endowment, and we can carry it with a passion. We can carry it with, and it's something to be proud of. It's not even a culture to not be proud of. It's something to be proud of. It's historical. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's tasty. So there is something to be proud of and enjoy it. But also it's something that we owe to our ancestors who suffered and fought.
Absolutely. It is amazing to have that context. Like even when I'm having a really busy day at work, I work at a restaurant, or I'm having a really tough time in school, I think about what my great-grandparents went through, what actual hardship is. And and that adjusts your perspective.
Yeah.
Because when you're having trouble on an essay, it's like, well, I didn't have to walk through a desert for weeks on end with no food and no water, not sure if I'm going to survive.
Yeah.
You realize what actual hardship is. It's amazing to have that context. And I definitely agree with what you say, that it's about carrying it with you and like embodying that spirit in every aspect of your life. I think that's so important. Have you ever had an Armenian employee?
No.
Okay.
I have some Arab employees, Middle Eastern employees, but I haven't had an Armenian employee. But
Okay.
If you're Armenian looking for a job,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mirak,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you letting me review this place. It was great to talk to you.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, on Wednesdays at the Kendall Yards Night Market, Skewers has their food truck over there. So go check it out. And the location of the restaurant is 1009 West 1st Avenue, downtown Spokane. Check it out. This is Patty G Films Food Review. Thanks. Peace.
Oh, I'm just a kid. I never use my brain. I only use my heart and my imagination.
Hey guys, quick note. You can get skewers from Uber Eats and DoorDash. Hey Ryan, did you know that you can get skewers from Uber Eats and DoorDash?
But only with Patty G Films exclusive code?
Yes.
What a steal and what a deal.